topic today in the Warring News Report is overpopulation. We have got Tess Shepherd in to talk about what the effect this is having on our planet.
Overpopulation refers to the excessive increase in population over a period of time. With 2020 people added to the population per day due to lack of contraception, low education levels, technology advancement and improved public health, it is no surprise that the world is becoming overpopulated. It is a worldwide issue, but specifically targeted in Asia, places such as China and India.
So you mentioned lack of contraception, education levels, technology advancement and public health constantly increasing. How does this affect the population?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Firstly, contraception is lacking in many countries due to poor family planning, expense and availability. Things such as the pill, condoms and vasectomy simply aren't available due to lack of resources in places such as Africa. People to build, manage and work at hospitals and healthcare facilities are severely lacking in undeveloped countries. This is because the money to fund these facilities just isn't available. An estimated amount of 225 million women in developing countries, including Nigeria and Senegal, have admitted they would use contraception if it were available to them in order to have less children. Countries that can't provide contraception are going to have a higher fertility rate. Also, if couples don't consider family planning, they may have no limit to how many kids they produce and not think about the consequences it is having to the overall global state. Although the use of contraception has globally risen from 54% in 1990 to 57.4% in 2014, there is still much more room for improvement. If contraception is more widely available, this would lead to a lower overall population.
That is a very good point. If that's the case, how do low education levels lead to increased population?
Well, you see, countries that are underdeveloped or developing may have low levels of education or even none. This will usually lead to adults growing up with little employment opportunities, especially women. This leads to one of their main purposes being to have children to help with the labour to sustain the family they now have. Afu Chiku, for example, lives in Chad and has 4 children that don't have access to education, so they work on her farm harvesting sugarcane. She says she needs the children to help her earn a living. In contrast, developing countries such as Australia, America and Germany, people are well educated and there are many job opportunities for them. Well-educated individuals may make the personal decision to pursue their career rather than look after multiple children. This is proven by Australia's fertility rate being 2 children per woman, or 1.93, compared to Niger being 7 children. The statistics proven by Statista prove that the higher the literacy rate, the less children families are likely to have.
I bet I didn't get the education we do here in Australia. We also have many new and improved technologies in this developed country. How come people in underdeveloped countries will have a higher population density if they don't have access to this technology?
Now, I'm not talking about your everyday computer or microwave technology. I'm talking about medical technology. This includes radiotherapy, fertility advancements, or IVFs, organ transplants, and medical discoveries such as penicillin. Technology has created ways to cure many diseases and conditions that would otherwise be life-threatening. Things such as the common cold or an infected cut are easily cured in places with access to medication. The other aspect to this technology is that it allows women who aren't naturally able to conceive to have a baby of their own. This is a larger amount of women than you may think. 6.7 million women aged 15 to 44 are infertile. You may not know this, but technology has increased the life expectancy from 47 years old in 1900 to babies born in 2005 to live until 78 years. This is mainly due to the US's 20th century technology advancements.
That is incredible. I couldn't imagine only living to 47. I don't miss be out of time soon. God, I'm glad I have access to these technologies. What about technology in public health?
I'm sure you're not that old. Improved public health refers to things such as access to the safe drinking water through pumps and sterilised operation equipment. It also includes a large amount of doctors being educated and better equipment for them to use. These factors will lead to a lower mortality rate like places such as Japan and Andorra, being 3% compared to underdeveloped countries that don't have access to clean drinking water or safe or available public health, such as Botswana, at 33%. People in developed countries have a life expectancy of 84 in Japan and 47 in Botswana. This proves that the better medical facilities they can offer, safe and sanitary public hospitals, will lead to an increased population.
So you're saying that lack of contraception leads to a higher fertility rate?
Yes.
And you're showing that countries with higher education levels, couples have proven to have less children than underdeveloped countries with a low literacy rate.
That's right.
I also understand that you've stated that technology has advanced, meaning that medication and medical procedures are available to cure diseases. Also that the medical facilities and public health systems that use this technology prove to increase the life expectancy rates.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So that's why an increase of population is happening, but why does it matter? Why is overpopulation such a bad thing? What does it impact on?
For multiple reasons. It strains natural resources, causes pollution, overcrowds urban areas, and can even cause conflict or wars.
Wow, that's intense. In what way does it strain natural resources?
With the population rapidly increasing, the demand for natural resources is also increasing at a fast rate. The more people that require resources such as oil, water, fuel, coal, and wood, the quicker it will go. We must be careful not to destroy the natural resources we require to survive. This strains the environment's ability to produce products such as oil, fuel, and wood. Also, the machinery used to extract these resources is ruining the lithosphere by compacting the soil and removing the vitamins in the ground. The buying and selling of these goods through exports and imports can cause political tension. Countries with excessive amounts of essential resources, such as Russia exporting timber, America exporting coal, and Saudi Arabia exporting oil, can to a degree selectively choose who they export to.
I see.
They must choose not to export. They may choose not to export to a country due to a dismissal of a treaty, or simply because they can't afford to purchase the goods. Because as the demand goes up,
prices do so too.
That's right. This is also for the economy of the government. It generates trade, which also brings money to employees such as coal miners, deforestation companies, and so on. Other individuals that aren't involved in generating resources are left to share around what's left. They will suffer as the population grows because, as I said before, prices will rise and the supply drops. This will limit transport, electricity, and luxurious amounts of water, which can eventuate to a lower standard of living. Already, 1 billion people lack access to clean water. Oil is predicted to run out completely in 46 years' time, and at this rate, coal will be rather scarce in 150 years' time. This is how overpopulation is causing an overuse of natural resources.
Yes, that makes sense. And surely all of this machinery is causing pollution. That can't be good for the ozone layer.
Yes, of course. Overpopulation causes pollution in many ways. More factories will be required to produce products to fulfill the demand. More cars and other means of transport will be required, which both emit harmful gases that deteriorate the ozone layer, causing global warming. Cars driven globally increased from 980 million in 2009 to 1.015 million in 2010. This contributes 23% to the greenhouse emissions. The ozone layer is already being destroyed at 4% per decade. Then the population will have to adapt to a warmer climate, and that's a whole new subject.
Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Fire also emits carbon monoxide. These will be used more by families to warm their children, especially in undeveloped countries, as they don't have solar power or wind turbines for electricity to heat themselves. Also, excessive oil transportation leads to a high risk of oil spills. This is very harmful to the biosphere as it kills plants and animals. Pollution increases the risk of illnesses such as asthma and lung cancer. Not only that, but global warming can lead to the rise of sea levels, which may flood countries. Who will pay for the people to migrate to other countries, and where will they go? This will cause much political turmoil, I'm sure.
There's enough of that around here already.
Pollution is being generated a lot quicker with the increased amount of people who make that happen and the main places that happens is at urban areas. This is because people are being pushed towards urban areas because of a lack of job opportunities, medical facilities, and education. This means that existing towns will grow out, causing the land surrounding the cities to be used for industrial uses rather than for crops. It also means that people will have to travel further to get to their jobs. This will mean that on an economical front, the prices of the houses will increase. This will be to employ people to build these houses and as the demand increases. Many individuals may be competing for their jobs when the new residents move in and attempt to overtake workplaces. It may affect the community and will cause unemployment. The unemployment rates have been raised from 5 million in 2013 to 202 million in 2015 worldwide. Not only this, but businesses can attempt to use more space than allocated, which can lead to riots. When people live further away from city jobs, they must travel a longer distance, which causes pollution and therefore ruins the environment. Out of 7.3 billion people worldwide, 53% live in urban areas, with Argentina having 92% of the population living urbanly. These are some of the reasons why it is important not to have overwhelming amounts of the population living in urban areas.
7.3 billion people worldwide, that's crazy. Now, what were you saying about wars and conflicts?
Well, they are brought about by countries competing over who deserves resources. Some argue they have a greater population, others argue they need it more immediately. This will always cause tension between countries. An example of this is the conflict over the Jordan River. One of the many reasons this conflict erupted was that countries such as Israel complained about the overuse and misuse of the water downstream. Also, with a population that is too large to possibly be able to accommodate by a single country, China for example, 1.3 billion, they may attempt to expand and take over the land. This can cause conflict as the opposing countries may also feel they have the same right. If a war may result due to this conflict, houses, cities and factories must be rebuilt, sending the country into an economic crisis and will be forced to take advantage of the World Bank. If not, it will also cause a political uproar towards who pays for the damage done. If not anything else, it will ruin the soil and vegetation of the land it took place on, causing it to be churned up, lacking topsoil and infertile for many years. Soldiers who would have died in that war would have families grieving over them. It would have a devastating effect on social, geographical, political and environmental aspects.
Yes, well, I suppose they all would. Thank you for informing us on what overpopulation is, where it occurs, why this is happening, and how it impacts on the social, political, environmental, and economic aspects of our planet.
My pleasure.
Thank you all for watching Warri News.